And the one thing I think is integrity. If anything that I've seen business owners scale and to grow is that they start doing well in business, and any moral, even for that first person, or any respect and gratitude for that first person goes out the window. It's okay, how can I grow? How can I scale? How can I get bigger?
Hit the subscribe button. We've already been talking for a little bit, so we'll try. I don't think we'll cover any of that stuff. We know each other from a networking group on the internet, the interwebs, technically.
Yes.
And then I guess we live kind of locally to each other.
I would say within 10 miles.
Give or take.
Very close.
Give or take. So I guess I found you, I first saw you from your jump roping videos, and you showed up here with a gracious gift of a jump rope.
Love it, yes.
We'll probably have to have a jump rope battle sometime.
I like it, yes, yes.
I'm trying to get TikTok famous, right?
Yeah, I'll be the ref.
It's got some spice, a little whip in it, and then you're ready to go.
But you're more than just jump rope.
I am.
Right?
I am.
What do you do?
Oh, that's a good question. All right, so that's something that what do? I do lots of things. I do what makes me happy. I try to just go out there and be my best self. And that's something that when quarantine hit, I was like, you know what? What do I do? Because I'm 26. I was like, what am I going to do with my life? 4 years ago, I started an education company, so a learning company, and it was just me, party of one. Didn't know what I was going to do. Thought it was maybe like a side hustle. And then I was like, you know what? Actually, we got some stuff here to work with. I'm helping kids. More people came. Didn't expect it to turn into a business. Took it a little bit further, and I was like, okay, I'm going to start tutoring and teaching kids.
So that was in...
That was back in 2018. Yeah, 2018.
Okay.
So we're about to celebrate 4 years for a birthday. And I was like, you know what? Okay, pretty cool. I love teaching kids. I love the excitement that you get because I got a lot of energy. So I get to bring it into the classroom, make learning fun, unique, change it up. When I go into a session with my kids, I don't sit down. I don't have textbooks. I don't have workbooks. I got kicked out of the library multiple times for my volume. That's okay. But it's just like going in and having fun, making learning fun, getting engaged, throwing a ball, going out, doing basketball, playing with the football, doing some jump rope, getting our brains, our neurons firing, things like that. So I really got passionate about it. And I was like, you know what? As a business owner, it's not just a side hustle. I can actually make this into something. I can create an entity, which is pretty powerful because when you are in your 9-to-5 job, you have to follow the rules. When you are on your own, you get to make the rules, which is also intimidating.
So you started this side hustle because at the time you were a teacher, or?
Yeah, so basically what happened was it was like a part-time thing coming out of college. I had done my student teaching, got my job offers, was in the classroom, and what originally prompted it was not like a mission to like tutor kids or anything like that. I was like, my first job offer of $32,000. No, thank you. So I was like, this is crazy. How am I going to pay student loans? Where am I going to live? What am I going to do? So I started tutoring, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to work on my own time. It wasn't super lucrative at first. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a lucrative industry if you are just a tutor one of yourself. But I was like, oh my gosh, I actually can teach on my own terms and do things on my own terms. And that was something that was kind of a change, I guess, for me, and I wanted to continue to do that and build something. So I guess just
So you grew from being a teacher, you were doing the tutoring part-time, just kind of connecting with kids that were your students, or were you connecting with students outside of?
No, it was actually outside. So I got some outside students first. Some of the students I had worked with, parents reached out and were like, hey, like, can you tutor my kid? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I had no idea what I was doing at the time. I was just like, yeah, sure, why not? And I ended up doing that for an entire year. It wasn't an LLC. It was just kind of like tutoring so-and-so's neighbor
just helping
kid.
your
Yeah,
kids
you know,
out.
helping out kids at the school, community, things like that. And then after a while, I was like, wait, I'm going to have to pay taxes. Because I started making enough money. So then I was like, okay, you know what? Let's turn this into a business. So I turned it into an LLC, and it was myself. And then when you put in the work, I think, and you stay consistent, and you consistently build a following, and you continuously produce good results, people are like, hey, word of mouth, work with her. She's pretty good. We enjoy it. Because I actually had the time of that year working with students to get results. Because you can't go in and be like, I teach. This is fun. This is my company. I mean, I guess you can, but I didn't have any, like...
There there's no
testimonial.
no
Do you know what I mean?
driver.
There's no
Yeah.
exactly. There's nothing that was showing up. So I had to go in and create that. And then I was like, oh, this is a business. And then second year of business, I was like, still don't know what I'm doing necessarily, but figuring it out as we go. I brought on an independent contractor. So I had a team of 2 people then, myself and the other individual, and kind of figured it out as we went and we grew. And then I had a third one in year 3. And I was like, oh, 3 people is kind of cool. And then over the pandemic is when it kind of exploded. And I totally changed how I did things. I took advantage, kind of capitalized on kids not being in school, doing
As you
virtual
should.
learning. Absolutely.
Yeah.
There was an opportunity there. And also, online learning sucks. Nobody, like even desk jobs, you don't want to sit at a computer all day and do boring, mundane, busy tasks. That's
So
what kids
your
are being-
demand went immediately through the roof at the beginning of Corona.
Exactly. So then I was like, okay, what are we going to do? I only have myself. I also need to run a team. I also need to run a business. What am I going to do? And I totally changed my company, how we were working. So we ended up actually with, through amazing connections, having a small, I guess not that small. It was like a warehouse space where we had kids actually come through the entire school year and come to us. And we also started implementing group classes, one-on-one instruction, prep courses on the weekend, one-on-one services, but then also daytime services where kids could literally come to our location and do learning with us there, do their schoolwork. So, hey, you can't wear a mask at school, or you have to wear a mask at school, but mom and dad says no, or you don't want to wear a mask. That's okay. You have your space. You do your thing. We're going to kind of work around it because honestly, in my opinion, if you're going to be learning, you need to have an emotional connection. You got to be there in person, especially if you're a young kid, to be taught through a screen. Can you get information? Yes. But the degree to which you have that connection and to create an experience is definitely limited.
Well, screens also haven't really been around that long for us to know what the results would be like from a entire, curriculum taught through a screen. And I think we're going to see the results in like 3 or 4 years when, those standardized tests and things start coming out and reading and things are deficient and stuff like that.
I absolutely agree. But one of the things, too, I think to go off of that is the past year, teachers who were not virtual teachers were being asked to teach online. Meaning when you're talking about a curriculum being implemented and taught and instructed online, those teachers are taught, trained, and practiced teaching online. These are teachers that have no idea, some of them, how to work Zoom because they've never had to. Or, for example, if you have older teachers that aren't tech savvy, unmute, or mute, whatever you're kind of like going on trying to run a classroom, because those teachers were teaching to a computer, but then also teaching to kids that are actually in their class. And the fact that literally kids were being asked to come to class, even though they're in the building, to bring their laptop, to open it up, only to hop onto a Zoom meeting to see their teacher teach who's literally 10 feet in front of them. A lot of parents aren't happy about that. But in regards to the information that you get, I think it all depends on who's facilitating it and the experience that that person has facilitating, online instruction.
That would make sense. What area do you serve? Particular school district territories, or what's your reach right now?
Okay, so this kind of comes back. I was talking about how year 3 of the journey, I had some people explode over COVID. I now have a team of 7. We're continuing to expand. Currently, we are in Pennsylvania, primarily the Newtown area, some of Philadelphia, because we have online and in-person instruction too. And then we're also in New Jersey, we're in Massachusetts, and international as well, actually. So we have students in the UK, which is pretty cool. So
We got a young baller here.
yeah, so
Yeah.
it's grown.
A YB. We got to get her a coat.
Yeah,
We got-
YB coat.
Yeah, add another camo sweatshirt to the order.
Yeah,
We got
there
a
we go.
warrior here. Shotgun. Give me a shotgun.
Oh my gosh. love it.
That's very impressive.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I also I commend you for you seem like a really genuine, nice, kind person. But I also commend you for connecting your kindness and desire to help kids with the ability to monetize that.
Of course. And the one thing I think is integrity. If anything that I've seen business owners scale and to grow is that they start doing well in business And any moral, even for that first person, or any respect and gratitude for that first person goes out the window. It's okay, how can I grow? How can I scale? How can I get bigger? Well, that's true, but there's two things that I have an issue with. And it's one, the first thing is that these are kids. This is somebody's life. You can't play with that. You make an impact. When I walk into a room, I'm creating a circle of influence with that child. And that's something that I do not take lightly. And I didn't go to college to be a businesswoman. I went to college to be a teacher, to instruct, to help cultivate, to grow minds, not to make money.
But what's cool about that is that like you, and this is like why I have a problem with people who have a problem with people with money or people that make money, right? Because how much impact could she make, Gilmar, if $1 million was in her pocket right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's like to think that like you should pursue like a teaching career and not make money or not like endorse like go after profit and growing and like doing a business. It's because like how well you're taking care of people is directly correlated with how well you are doing financially. So like if we come to you in 5 years and you're a baller, you've helped a lot. You've helped a lot. There are a lot of children that are perceivably much better off because of that trend. Like, and I don't think people look at it that way.
No, I don't think they do. And that kind of comes back to like that integrity piece where I see like a lot of business owners, that second point, just of they scale, they make more money, they monetize, and they might be a baller, but it doesn't mean that they're a good person or that they have stuck with their integrity or their morals. That the people that you started with, even that first year of business, those neighborhood kids, things like that, they're the people that gave you my start. Without them, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to grow, to become what I am today and what I continue to want to be. So it's one of those things where I think the more you give, the more you're going to see opportunities align. The universe gives you these different ideas, these different opportunities to go out and to be more and to do more. And you have to be prepared for them to come. Not for those opportunities, but be prepared in your own actions so that you can capitalize on them. This way, when you are kind of, you know, in that space of business growing and kind of like wanting to like become a baller, you say, okay, I'm ready to step up. I'm ready for that next step, because it's a level. And if you're not ready for that level and you jump to it, I'm going to fail. I mean, you can fail a lot of things, but how you deal with the failure also is how you've been shaped in your journey so far. So
interesting. How you were 26 when you started, or you're 26 now?
26 now.
Holy shit.
Shit, I'm 26 right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Woo woo.
Yeah, shout out to 26-year-old.
Yeah, shout out.
That's really cool. I think something that I like to say a lot when at least given the opportunity or to like call it out is in making money. You make money two ways. You either help a lot of people or you help a few people really well. So either help a lot of people for very little, and it sounds like you're kind of like you're doing both. Like
you're both.
You're doing both because like you're expanding, but you're giving high quality individualized help.
Exactly.
You're probably capable of only tutoring so many people, and that's why you had to expand in the manner you did.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's something, even I just brought on a new independent contractor because I had way too many students on my personal agenda list. And obviously, like, I work with a business coach and I do different things. And like, you got to scale, do these things. And one of the most inspiring pieces of advice I've gotten recently was when people tell you to scale. I don't know if you've heard this, but they're like, you need to step out of the day-to-day operation.
No, it's completely.
But I was about to say, I absolutely agree. That is a lie. I was inspired by it. I was like, I've heard people say that, and I don't agree with it. Because when I step out of the day-to-day operation, that means I'm not with my students. My students are what get me excited, what get me passionate, what give me the ground and my start to do what I do, to be able to teach, to be able to cultivate, to get kids excited, to change mindset, do those types of things. But if I'm not in the day-to-day operation, then I can't. Now, it doesn't mean I can take on 35 kids and have the same quality, but I still want to be able to create an impact. So I have my lane where it has those very few select individuals, and then our core values that I stand behind and that my team members kind of emulate and also bring to their sessions. They're able to take the other students, that mass amount that I'm not able to help directly, and kind of have their own little niche or their own little community of learners themselves. And then if you look at the whole with all of our learners together, then that's where you're serving the masses. So it's like individual teachers serving a very specific group of students. And then if you have a whole bunch of little communities, that community makes your entire population. And that's where you kind of are able to serve the mass like you're kind of talking about.
How many, that's really cool. How many people, or here, let me ask this question.
Yeah.
How soon on, like, into this business did you establish your core values?
Ooh, very good question. 3 years. 3 years.
So a year ago.
Okay, 2.5. We'll say 2.5.
Okay.
2.5. More, maybe 2, actually. That's a good question. I haven't thought about that. Not 2 years into business, actually. It was 2 years into business, actually, because it was December 2019, actually. Now, have some of them changed or been tweaked? Absolutely. And the things I tell my students specifically is that you have to be respectful, you have to be honest, you have to be excellent. And to be excellent just means to be your best self. It doesn't mean that you get the A on the test, but it means that you work and you put in your hardest work to get your best result. And being excellent isn't just school focused. It's also just about how you carry yourself, how you do things, how you think, how you feel, how you treat others, and building that. And once I was able to set those core values, I was able to talk to my students about that. I don't just throw it up on a website or throw it at like the beginning of.
No, it's the driver of your
Exactly.
parameters.
It's reinforced. And my kids know, literally, if you ask any of my students, hey, what are the 3 things all of my students, even if I'm not working with them, they know who I am because I'm involved. It's a lot of students, but I will touch base at least once a month with every student. And I say, hey, what are they? Talk to me about them. And they know it's being respectful, being honest, being excellent. And they have to tell me about that because it's not just teaching, it's growing a little mind.
Yeah.
And it's to put positive inputs into that little mind.
What did somebody help you with establishing that or that structure, or did you kind of just know you needed to do that?
No, I definitely I didn't know I needed to do that at first. I think just getting plugged in, getting plugged into different business networks, such as like how we've connected, joining with different groups, making connections and networking, but then also seeing examples from like
He's the happiest dog in the
I
world.
know.
Yeah. He lives a life.
So it's just like those different people I've surrounded with myself and kind of changing my circle as I've gone through each year of business. And even the people that I hang out with and my friends have changed, not in a bad way, but just I see more people and I see, oh my gosh, that's the life I want. They are doing something, so I'm going to follow them. And it's jumping from group to group to group, kind of like frogs on lily pads where you pop, 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 pop around. And eventually you say, oh, the big dogs are doing that. That's how they're doing it. Well, if I want to be like them, I should probably do that too. So then taking some time to also like establish them. And obviously there's things about my business that I don't like that I'm working to fix and I'm changing at the moment too. But it's an ongoing process. Not like, oh, there's something I don't like, I change it. It's an ongoing revision process. It's not like there's a final draft. And I'm sure you probably experienced that in your own endeavors as well.
Yes, I've made a lot of mistakes to get where I am. It's really, do you have any parents that are in business or what?
Yeah.
Like your parents are in business for themselves or are they self-employed? Like what's that look like?
So my parents are both ex-military, my mom
Okay.
and my dad. They met in the military, so home and our family value is very strict, very defined. My dad has been an entrepreneur, I want to say, for about 20 years now. Originally was in business with his brother, and now on his own endeavor, he does electrical contracting. So for labs, recycling plants, things like that, travels for work on different states. But his attitude and his mentality really is what drives me and has created, I think, my work ethic as well as what I want to achieve. Because when for example, if I'm saying, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I should do this. He's like, well, why are you thinking if you should do it? Just go out and do it. It's more about, I don't want to hear the pity party. Go make it happen. If you don't do well, guess what? Do it again. Do it better. Oh, well, get on with your life. Keep it going. There's something else out there that you need to tackle next. It's like always like, yeah, celebrate, woohoo, but you can always do something better, always do something more. And I think sometimes that can be like a challenging idea to kind of like, can I do it better? Like, actually, yeah, once you realize and you start practicing other things, you can get pretty good at some things.
Yeah, like jump rope.
Yeah, like jump rope. Exactly. You can also be pretty bad at some things, like running myself. Not a runner. I have endurance, but doesn't translate.
Yeah, running's not good for you. I've run pretty far. in like races or like training and stuff like that. And I've learned over the years that if you do the jump rope or the bicycle or Stairmaster, like you can get into races and not run at all leading up to that race, except for like a little bit of like getting the blood going.
How does that impact translate? Like if you're like on the elliptical or if you're on a
I
bicycle?
don't do elliptical. I'll do like bicycle for like high cardio, and then I'll do like
an
the
assault bike? Or like
I can crush an assault bike, but
Love an assault
normally like on like the Swift or like the Peloton.
Okay. I get you saying. Yeah, I don't like to bike. I signed up for a college class once, and it was biking, and I was like, okay, this will be cool. And I'm like, all right, cycling, like I'm gonna be so fit. And this is like before my fitness journey. This is probably like 6 years ago. I'm like, I'm gonna be so fit. I'm gonna be so hot. And then no. I show up. They're like, you need a helmet. You had to ride on a bicycle outside. It was not a stationary bike. It was literally a bicycle outside. But the tires are like the road bikes, like they're super skinny. No. And the roads too are, I don't know if you've ever been on Taylorsville Road, how it's like, we're riding on roads like Taylorsville. So like there's no lane, there's no nothing.
What college was this, Bucks?
This is Gordon College. No, this is Massachusetts. So I'm just like, I'm screwed. The amount of times I fell off my bike. And then on top of that, there's no, you apparently to be sized on a bicycle correctly, you're not supposed to be able to touch the ground. So now, first of all, I have no coordination really when driving a bike. I'm on the road. I can't touch the ground and I can't stop. So the amount of times
And do you have your feet clicked in?
Yes. So I can't get them out.
Damn.
So every single stop sign we pulled to, I would not like pull the brakes. I'd just be like, ooh. Just fall to the side.
I'm not gonna lie. The first time I got onto a road bike, I was like, oh, "Yeah, I totally got this." I like clicked my one foot in, and I immediately crashed. And they told me I was gonna do that. They're like, "I'm like, no. I'm a prodigy.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna get on this bicycle." He called me Lance Armstrong.
Stupid.
It crashed right away.
I'm pretty sure we got graded for the class too. I think I got like a B for riding a bicycle. So it's like, really feeling good.
Damn.
Throw that on the resume.
Yeah.
For real.
I'm be ready for bikes. Oh damn! Yeah, as we all sip.
I know. No, but it was a good time. I have no desire to bike again on the road. Other people get after it. Good for you. You do you.
But
Not my
you
thing.
look yoked. You look like you got some
Stop.
like. Oh geez! Oh, put it away.
Oh, but I wish. No,
I'm scared.
Hide
dude.
me.
I'm so scared.
Keep me safe.
no. I just I like to work out. I like to do weightlifting. I originally got into fitness through CrossFit.
Where'd you start doing CrossFit?
CrossFit Newtown.
Dude, I've been trying to get the guy who owns that on the podcast for so long.
Really?
If you know him, be like, look, stop messing around on the intro. Let's just get on the podcast. I think he's worried I'm going to taint his brand.
No. It's cool. It's cool.
I'm going to call him out.
Oh yeah.
No, I actually work with his son multiple every summer.
Oh, nice.
And
We'll give him
yeah,
a little.
I was saying, since I have my phone's over there, I have to shoot him a text after this. Be Matt, get on here. Send him a picture.
You started getting yoked at CrossFit Newtown.
Yep.
Newtown CrossFit.
Technically now it's Newtown Strength and Conditioning.
Oh, okay.
I have to say that because if he sees this,
Oh,
he'll be like,
because
"We're
of the
not
whole
going."
CrossFit brand
yeah.
thing, because that guy said some racist stuff and
so
nobody
he
plays with
tainted it,
CrossFit
yeah.
anymore. You hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Ooh.
The owner of CrossFit, like the brand
It's like
organization,
the president,
the president, he
whatever
had to
it is.
step down in 2020 because on like a large Zoom / conference call, he said some unsavory things about the protesters
Oh.
in regards to their race. It didn't hit well.
No, I bet it did.
The jokes didn't slap.
The jokes didn't slap.
Yeah, somebody snitched him out. They recorded the screen recorder or something like that. So
Damn.
everybody bounced on him.
Go say dumb shit.
CrossFit took a hit.
CrossFit took it. But it's rebranded.
Yeah.
They're rebranded now, yeah. No, honestly, I like the little symbol now because it makes their merch like a little bit more, a little cooler. So I was like, okay, I could rep this merch. I could get behind this.
Yeah.
So it's cool now. But I'm just like,
Yeah, you see, you stepped your logo up now. Real customers will get
Yeah,
behind
right.
you. That's it.
put me down for 2.
That's awesome. So you started jumping rope like a year ago or so, or
When quarantine hit, I was like, I got to do some stuff. I mean, I got into weightlifting a little bit right before that. But I was like, I got to do cardio. They actually did 75 hard. And I was like, I need a 45-minute outdoor workout. So I was like, I'm going to try jump rope. I saw this jump rope of somebody being like so sick with it and kind of like, dancing with it and doing some cool tricks. And I was like, oh, shoot. So I was like, I feel like I could do that. And then I went out there and I tried it and it was so bad. I could get like maybe like 7 to 10 jumps
Were you doing,
consecutive.
like,
Arms were so wide. I was like 1, 2, 3. I was like, yeah, got it. And I was so excited though because I was like, I didn't have the coordination for it. So when you go outside and you practice jump rope for 45 minutes for 75 days, you start to get kind of good. No, I was decent at the end. But then after that, I was like, I have basic skills. Now we can add some fancy skills and we can, level it up or kick it up a notch. So I started doing that and I love it. I also so cardio is awesome for jump rope. Endurance is awesome. But I also do like to like you'll see like my videos on Instagram are like very like fun and like dancey jump rope with some tricks. But I also do cardio. I'm sorry, not cardio. I also do a lot of like strength training with jump rope where I do have weighted ropes.
You have a weighted jump rope.
I also have a vest. So I have probably 20-some different jump ropes, all for different purposes. Sometimes it might be I want to do like a whole bunch of double unders, throw in like push-ups, like quickly, like mix it in for like a Metcon type of idea. But like you can do strength training with your rope, which is pretty cool. And like interval set things. So that's kind of how I do it. I have the fun with it, but I also get the workout with it, conditioning. I'm sure though, because you have been doing it. So
I've got weighted ropes and a speed rope. I've destroyed the speed rope the other day. I have a GoPro video of it, I think, because
really?
it's such a thin piece of wire that like it's bent now. So like it just won't, like no matter how hard I spin it, it like won't spin out straight. So it gets like it's completely trashed. I'll just have to go to another.
How do you store your ropes?
Mine
up? Or like
the nicer ones will curl up into like 3 loops.
Okay.
So it's like it's not a bad one.
Okay.
But the one like that one will it's just like it's a cheap rope, but you can go so fast, and it just doesn't. It hasn't stood the test of time well. It also like the plastic that covers the metal, like wore off very easily from like. Which is unfortunate.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna guess you've been hit with a rope before.
Yeah, toes and things like that are pretty bad.
Yeah. You ever hit your back or your butt?
Yeah.
Ooh, especially if that's not the coating on there. Not my favorite thing.
I used to jump rope barefoot because we'd be doing it like on the mats, and then like every now and then you'd be like like competing for doubles, and it'd be like, and you'd be like, I'm gonna go. My big toe is now throbbing.
Jeez.
So now I'll wear like just running sneakers. I don't know if I could do real well in these because they're like super loose, but I prefer to be like as like tight to the sneaker as possible.
I get it.
Nice good sneakers.
I got you. I gotta change my sneakers probably like every 3 months now because they get like a lot of mileage in them from jumping.
Yeah.
So
I used to like with running and everything like that, I wouldn't change my sneakers as frequently as I was supposed to until like I learned about all that. Because I'm like, oh, these sneakers should last a year, and it's like, no, well, you're running like X number of miles a day times week times year. It's like, no, your shoes are just like there's no cushion left after like a month, so you really shouldn't. But running's bad for you.
I don't like it. It hurts.
Especially a lot of people don't know how to run. I know that sounds ridiculous.
People. No, I don't. I don't know how to run. I don't have proper run form.
But how you like put your foot on the ground and make contact with the ground, and all of that matters for like the longevity of your knees.
Of course. And that's something that it's like I said, I don't like it. Will I do it if needed? Yes. But I also realize like with fitness, if I don't enjoy it, I don't do it.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, you're going to miss out. It's really good. Well, there's other ways you can get a certain stimulus. Whatever type of workout, guarantee there's a way you can change it. So I don't really.
Do you squat?
I do.
How much can you squat?
All right, so at the moment or my best?
Let's go both.
Yeah, let's go both. Let's go both. Let's see.
Currently 205, consistently like 185.
Okay.
Now, right now, for like if I was going to go for like multiple though, probably have to bring it down to like 175 for like 5 reps.
You got some legs on you. You got some
A
legs
lot
on
of
you.
practice.
She's strong.
A lot of practice.
She's strong.
Now, if you ask me to snatch something, it's just the bar. Just the bar.
There's a little bit more technique in that. And you get hurt. Like,
yeah, that was me for a long time.
Gotta watch some wrists.
flips back.
Yeah,
falls on you.
Hits in your throat. You're like,
I'll just go jump rope.
That's my cup. I was like, you know what? I exercised today. I jumped rope. But at a certain point, too, when you do an exercise, you don't get the same stimulus anymore. Because, like, I could easily go and jump rope for, like, 3 hours. I love it. It's something that gets me excited. I have, like, the energy for it. So I'm like, okay. I'll look at, like, I'll be, like, my fitness tracker, my Whoop. I'll be like, all right, you burn, like, 1,500 calories. It's a lot. The only thing is, like, now you got to go eat for it. But I don't get, like, the same stimulus from it as I did when I first started. But that's any exercise. So I was like, I got to find new exercises every now and then or things that I like to try. Because I have this rule. Every 3 months, I like to try something new. And when I try it, I have to commit to it, meaning like I have to get out of my comfort zone. Even if it's something I don't like, I got to do it. Jump rope, I didn't think I was going to like. Stuck with it for the 3 months, continued it. I love it now. Even just other things. Like, for example, I did like kickboxing and boxing. I took up that for 3 months. I really enjoyed it.
How'd that go?
Actually, really well. It was actually really bad the first 2 months.
What gym did you go to?
I went over first to kickboxing, AmeriKick in Princeton, and then I got a private boxing instructor over in what is it? Not help me.
It sounds made up.
Stockton,
sounds made up.
Stockton, New Jersey.
Okay.
But that was probably
Yo,
like
Nate Diaz?
Yo, was it ABS?
Stockton, California.
Okay, we're gonna learn how
that
to
was
punch.
Stockton, Jersey, right over there.
Yeah.
So that was cool. That was I want to say like 8 months, or not maybe 8 months, maybe like 7 months, or maybe 8 months ago, 9 months, something like that.
So, like, when's jiu-jitsu coming up on your...
It's literally on my list. I have a list. I have archery on my list. I have
Archery?
jiu-jitsu. Yeah.
You got my bows in my back
Yeah,
seat?
yeah.
Oh,
Did
shit.
you get it tuned?
So
I did get it tuned. It shoots
Ooh.
straight now.
Oh,
Shout out to those
very
deer.
nice. Oh, ooh, okay.
you're about to get it.
Do you hunt a lot?
No.
No.
No, this is year 2 of owning a bow.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I bought a bow. I went shopping in the beginning of Corona because I like saw it coming sooner than everybody else did. And then we came back from a trip, and I was like, I'm going to buy some stuff. I'm going to buy a bow. I'm going to buy a bunch of food, water, just a whole bunch of random things. And then like 3 or 4 weeks later, everybody was like, there's no toilet paper. And I'm just like shooting bows and arrows. So, like,
At toilet paper.
everybody's freaking out. I'm like, look at all this practice I'm getting. Everybody took off work.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's what I did. And I have I'll probably not get around to it because there's only so many hours in the day. I'm a decent archer now.
Really?
If I don't kill anything this year, it's fine. Next year, I'll definitely be ready to like
Next year's
fully
the
hunt.
game plan.
Fall just came up so fast, and now it's like Christmas and
It's like
it's just, so there's all, and like I make time for some things, but you can't make time, like you can't literally make your whole day about stuff you want to do. Like I could literally go from like jiu-jitsu to the gym to like archery
you gotta,
to
like, pick one, choose
eventually I
one.
got to go to work.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. I'm like, oh man. Otherwise, I would try to do it all. And I realized too, on Fridays, for example, I don't see any students on Friday. I don't really do any work with my team. It's strictly just like professional development Friday. So I'll do like networking, things like that. And that's my day to kind of like do what I want. So I save like that itch for my Fridays. So if I want to jump rope the whole day, or if I want to go to the gym the whole day, or if I want to, for example, go shopping and make a fancy meal, like I can do that on my Friday, and it keeps me sane. But it's like,
do you work on the weekends then?
I work Sunday. That's a new one though. But I mean, technically I work every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always doing stuff, especially as a business owner. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm done today. There's always something to do and something that you can take yourself to the next level, or even just like housekeeping things to not, kick things up a notch. But Sundays have been a big day where I typically have students from 8 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. So it's an entire day. I literally like shove a protein bar.
And how many kids will you see that day?
Let me count up. I think like 8 or so.
Okay.
Some of them I might see for more. Some of them I might see for less. Technically, it's more than 8. I should say I have 8 sessions that day, because some of them are like group sessions where I might meet with like 4 or 5 kids at once. So like 8 plotted sessions that day. But that's just new, so I can free up my Friday because I like having the day to myself. And because kids are in school, that means that I work in evening hours. So I usually don't get home until like 9:30, 9:45, sometimes even 10:30, because sometimes my latest sessions will start at like 8:30 at night. So my daytime hours, I don't want to say like they're free, but they are my like after work hours. How most people would have my before work hours. So
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Do you ever run into situations where people like call to like get you as their tutor, and you're like, well, look, unfortunately, I'm fully busy, but I do have, Steve over here who's an expert in biology that can help your kid, and they're like, or are they usually very receptive?
Honestly, my families are all amazing. I've had such receptive families. I do have a lot of people that will come in. Fun fact, surprisingly, jump rope, the few videos that I have of them, have brought in like 5 or 6 students now. So those are parents. That's a perfect example because a lot of my business is word of mouth or through programs. If I'm helping out at a school or working with kids in a certain capacity, I have an interaction with them, and it's word of mouth. Families pass on a word, things like that. But for people that are coming to my company that have no contact with any other people, they'll be like, we want to work with you. You saw you. And that's when you have to transition, say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're here. Can't wait to help you on your learning journey. Let's first take a step back and evaluate what our needs are here. Because although I would love to work with all the kids that I have, my talents and the things that I shine at might not be what you need. So what are the things that your kid needs? What are the things that your family needs? And let's assess it from there. So one of the things is you don't just like sign on.
That's a good way to handle it, because you're like, all right, cool. Like, you're not signing up with me. You're signing up with the business, and the business functions in the way that like we have to assess your kid and see who's best for your kid.
Exactly.
If I were a parent, I'd be like, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one of the things that I do. Now, I always am very personal, though, with my families. And like I said, having those core values, sticking it back into the business and integrating it, it's still part of me that I'm able to work with my students. But when parents come in, you know what? I'm not the best at, for example, maybe teaching history. So maybe if you need to prep for an AP exam, maybe you need a different educator. Or maybe let's say you're trying to do, let's say reading comprehension. You want a really specific method that I'm not trained in. I'm not going to help you with that. I don't know how to do it. But I have other educators that are trained and have their gifts. So it's like, you know what, giving them their opportunity to shine and saying, hey, like, this is a personality of your child. I love it. I want you to see the personalities of my other educators as well and see your needs and see what their areas of expertise are, because you need to get the best, most impactful result. And I might not be able to deliver that. I'm excited and I'm enthusiastic and I appreciate how excited you are, but I need to also make sure that we get you what you need, and I might not be the person to serve your needs. And if my team can't serve a need, I have no problem in business referring somebody else, because my thing that I'm not going to stand by is have my kids be on a waiting list forever and ever and ever, because we currently do have a waiting list. If you want to work with a company versus if you want to work with me, and some parents, will be like, all right, I totally respect that.
How do parents put their kid on a waiting list? Like, their kid's getting older by the day.
No,
their kid needs to learn how to read.
That's the thing.
Get him a book.
That's what I say, and I feel so bad because I was like, I don't want you to be waiting for me or for an opportunity or availability that I have or my team has. So I say, hey, you know what? This company is super awesome. Check them out. So sometimes parents will go use another tutoring service or another company, and then I say, all right, now I have availability, and then they'll transfer in. And some parents choose to wait, but I know that I can sleep calm at night with a clear conscience, knowing that I have provided them with alternate options, that I'm not just like, wait until we're ready. Because that's, like you said, if you can't read, you're just going to not read for longer. So.
Yeah. Billy can't read good.
Yeah.
I can't read.
She's got a wait list. What are we going to do about Billy? I guess he's just not going to read.
He's outside in the sand all day.
He has to see that one tutor specifically.
He needs her.
Why do we make Billy Southern? Like, Southern people can't read?
No, yeah,
it's
you're
my
right.
fault. I took it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Southern people.
Southern people, you guys are cool with us.
You
man.
guys, we got it.
Yeah, we're stupid.
Yeah.
Not you guys.
Let them think that. Got them. That's. What would you say? Like, I have not really like. I wouldn't really say I have experience, but I hear a lot about, like institutions like Silverman. What is the difference between like a Silverman Learning Center and like some sort of like corporate established center like that versus you?
Well, I mean, we're not
in case somebody asks.
Corporation. Of course. Well, people ask that question all the time. It's individualized. I don't do workbooks. None of my educators do work. Like, when you go to those centers, like, you sign up. It's a pre-made program. This is the workbook. You come in. It's just more busy work. It's more practice. If I wanted more homework, I just asked my teacher for more homework. That's honestly usually ends up being more homework for the parents. So you take those
Mic
books.
drop right
yeah,
there.
like honestly, like you come home and your parents is like, well, now we gotta do like 7 more pages of math. You're just memorizing. That's cool. Yeah, you might pass the test, but you're not gonna learn it.
I just hear from like the different people that I know that like use places like that. It just doesn't seem like it gets any results. But I'm not a parent, so I don't know necessarily, like maybe it's up to the parents to like help establish these results. Are you good over here? Did you fall off your chair again, Mark?
No.
Okay. All right.
I had to swap out a battery.
Oh no. Are we okay?
Yeah, we're fine. Everything's
So
fine.
it's, oh my God. Chaos.
Carry on.
Carry on. The silver, like those tutoring places, they seem very kind of like,
Cookie cutter.
yeah, it's like the Imperial Starship in Star Wars.
It
Like
is.
you're sending your kid off to kind of like, here, it's okay. Learn the dark ways.
No, that's what it is, honestly, because like when I was a student, I would be blown away. I was not an exceptional student. I was not a good student. Middle school, failed. Summer classes, I was that person. Eventually in high school, I got my act together a little bit, but I still racked up some F's and some D's along the way.
Is that just because you didn't comprehend what you were learning? You weren't motivated? Like,
I
what was
wasn't
the
applying myself. And when
Yeah.
I say I wasn't applying myself, because I didn't see the value. I would show up, I could crush a test, no problem. But you want me to do homework or these practice problems only for you to stamp it or give me a sticker? I'm not doing that. I have better things to do with my time.
You're like, I could buy one of
Yeah.
these stamps.
Yeah, I literally
I've got allowance.
rack it up. But that's I just like I didn't see it. I also was like, you know what? Well, I guess if I'm just like not working hard, I guess like maybe I'm right. Maybe I can't do these things. And I just didn't have the same mindset that I do now. So then when I got to college, though, a little bit down the road, I kind of figured out how to learn, how I learn from my brain. And I was like, you know what? What my teacher said, and not all my teachers, I had some amazing teachers. Other teachers, yeah, they were okay. But when I realized that I just need to learn how my brain learns and do it and change it for myself, that's when kind of like that magic happened. And that's when I was able to be productive and get a result. And that kind of changed me. So.
It sounds like it.
I mean, it did. I was like a crazy person in college. I'm a little crazy anyway, but I had a whiteboard that I would bring with me to my classes. No.
Like, how big is this whiteboard?
With a handle.
Oh, damn.
Like I was like, yeah. But you know what? It was received well. But I think it was because like I had the energy. I was like, you want to write on my whiteboard? You want to be friends? Here, let's share some markers. And people thought it was hilarious. And you just gotta like embrace it and own it. But I did carry around a whiteboard. And that's how I would study. It's like was my flow, was my jam. I didn't like to take notes on my computer. It's still not my thing. I like to handwrite something, or I have a really, really big whiteboard, and I just like love like the kinesthetic connection when like you're writing and you have like the flow of the ink. I'm like, oh yeah, that's it. So
That's
like,
your flow state.
It's
is
my
this?
flow state, like, writing with
I mean, we
my-
got a whiteboard in another room.
Oh my god, I
If you want to get weird,
Yeah, with my
get out some
markers.
expos and just.
I like it. No, but
Can you write your name? Some teachers can do this.
Huh.
Can you write your name, like at
I
the
can
same
write my
time, both hand, like you
Oh,
know
I
how teachers.
remember.
No, but you know what my
You either
talent
come in and be
is?
like, I'm your substitute teacher, and my name's Michael.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? You think I'm impressed, dude?
I don't know. Writing with 2 hands might be kind of impressive. I'd be pretty impressed. The one thing that always impresses kids, or even like when we're in meetings or things like that, I got really good at writing upside down. Really good at
But
writing
because
upside
like
down.
you're coming up to
Because
kids
I'm
and they're
upside down, yeah. So my upside down writing might be even nicer, neater than my actual writing. I wrote you a little note. You're gonna see my actual writing is very, very bad. But my upside down writing is pretty spot on. Not gonna lie. So I feel like that's like a hidden talent I take a lot of pride in.
it's gonna make it to your Instagram bio. Hashtag
writing upside
ROT
down.
Syndicate Upside Down Writers
Upside down
Anonymous.
writer. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go add that now.
You'd be like, my my pronouns are and my disability is upside down writing. I just can't stop. That'd be. Yeah, what if that was like a form of dyslexia? You just like, instead of writing the letters or mixing the letters up, you just wrote everything
what?
upside down. You're like, oh my God. You're like, well, just
Maybe.
turn it around and read it. I don't know what to tell you.
Might be
It's
on
your
something.
problem. You can't read it.
Yeah, dude.
I wrote it.
Don't blame me.
That's that'd be a hell of a problem to have. God, I
Sounds
don't know.
about right.
I'm like, oh,
at least so.
I'm like thinking about how bad that could be. I was like, oh, damn.
No, but I feel like you start just trying like weird things that you always can like find weird talents. I'm sure you probably have some weird talents, yeah?
She's like, come on, Andrew.
Whoa, jeez. Let's just
go.
open up here. Nobody's listening. Hidden or weird talents. Weird talents. I'm pretty weird guy. Got a lot of I don't know, weird talents. I got really good reflexes. Like when stuff's like falling and stuff, I'm always like catching stuff.
When
People are like,
somebody's
"Wow, do you have fast hands?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Fast hands.
No big deal. You didn't notice that. I don't know. I don't know how I have hidden talent, secret talents. I don't know.
No secret talents?
I don't keep anything secret.
Okay, you're a transparent guy.
I'm an open book. That's my secret. That's my secret talent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you had a secret talent. I would have known it by now.
Yeah, you would that's what I'm kind of
Yeah.
like.
Do you have
What's my
secret
secret talents?
I don't think I do.
His talents is he puts up with me.
I guess patience is my greatest talent.
Yo. Master's degree in Andrew.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, Gilmore's hidden talent. I mean, it's not really hidden. He can cook.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Yeah, he can
I went to
Like
school.
chef it up, really?
Yeah,
Really?
chef it up,
Wow.
dude.
Yeah, for like 2 years. It was a good time. I've been cooking my whole life because my dad's a chef and
Okay, well.
he taught me how to cook. So,
I thought you were gonna go a
Wow.
different way with that.
what do you mean?
I thought you were gonna be like, I've been cooking my whole life because food and all. You just gotta eat it.
I mean, yeah.
It's not wrong.
It
Everyone-
wasn't gonna cook itself, and I was like, that's a lie.
Everyone should know how to cook a fucking egg, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I could cook an egg.
Yeah, no, you can.
Yeah,
I believe you.
I could if I had to.
If you had to, but you don't need to.
No, I
It's
don't.
fine.
Interesting. I wish I could pull. I wish I on the spot. I wish I had a wild hidden talent. Be like, well, funny you should
You're gonna
ask.
whip it out. Just
Yeah.
gonna show us the hidden talent.
I'm dumb flexible.
It's like,
Yeah, I'm dumb
it,
flexible.
it splits.
Yo,
I'm like, bro, what the fuck?
what if I just stood up and was just
Just boom.
bent my whole self in half? It's like, yo, I can do this thing with my back. Just
Fuck.
what?
John Claudius just straight up
Yeah.
hit a split and punch somebody.
That'd
That'd
I
be
don't know.
crazy.
I think I do hidden talents. I read a lot more than people
what is that? Why is that hidden?
normally can read, I guess. I read I'll read a book a week
That's good.
or maybe more.
I like it.
And that's weird to people.
Really?
So that's my
I'm a
hidden
teacher.
talent.
It's not weird to me. So
Yeah.
I
People
like
be
it.
like, how did you get this information? I'm
for the
like,
normal person, it might
It's
sound really,
books.
really weird.
it's these books.
Yeah, not the normal person
definitely-
doesn't read.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I don't read fiction books. Only
don't like it.
only nonfiction.
I don't. All my entire bookshop. Now I have a lot of books. I probably have. I want to say probably 800 books or so.
Okay.
Because I have a student library. Keep in mind, so you go 800
Oh,
books.
okay.
Some of them are Bridget Terabithia, or kids books.
Mm.
So, but the
Do you
books
ever
that I have-
read yourself a story to sleep?
I
You
don't-
put
I
the
wish
nightlight
I
on. You're
did.
like, I'm
Drink
it's
your tea,
bedtime.
you know?
Yeah, you're drinking his tea
Drink it.
over at the knack in the
Yeah.
sauna, just it's my day.
It's Friday.
Honestly, it sounds pretty good. I might have to. Usually, though, I feel like if I did do that, I'd have to have my fuzzy slippers on.
Mm.
And then,
Yeah.
go on.
All right,
I
so
feel
this is
that
a
one.
real thing now.
I'm thinking it out
I
now.
feel that one.
Yeah, it takes planning.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. No, but all my books personally, the ones that I use for teaching or in education, my books are all typically personal development, business-based books, nonfiction. I don't like fiction because it's fake and made up. It's why would I want to spend my time reading something that's not real?
Mm.
Yeah.
I have enough non-real scenarios in my head. I don't need to read
The
some more.
last fiction book I read was The Goblet of Fire,
Hey.
Harry Potter.
Really?
Mhm.
Okay, that's a good one.
And then I just said, dude, I'm not getting anything out of these storybooks. Dude. Give me some finance.
Yeah, bro.
And then I got really into science, and then that was it.
I love textbooks. I love
Textbooks.
reading textbooks.
Yeah, I can't.
Which sounds
I do
boring, but I
own
love it.
textbooks.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed to say
what
it.
Kind? What kind?
So I went to college for economics.
Okay.
So I own a lot of finance, math, math science, math history,
Okay.
financial history books. And then I went to architecture school. So I have a lot of building sciences.
Mm-hmm.
I have a book on how they make Adobe bricks, which is bricks from mud. So stupid. It's a good book.
It's kind of sick
Was
though.
it a good read?
And then I have a lot of books like science history, a lot of history. I guess they're just straight up history books. They're a variety of history books. So like I got financial history, science, history, war history. I like learning about stuff we already know. Because then it's like, oh shit, we already know this.
Yeah.
We already figured this out 300 years ago. Damn, open a book.
Shit.
Get off TikTok. That's how I feel. We have a whole we had a podcast like we did a whole series where it was just like it just got a little out of hand. It was a bit nonsense, and it was just me and Gilmar like riffing and having a good time and joking, and we were like, all right, we got to stop doing this before we get canceled. And one of the ideas we can't
Wasn't that bad. But
it wasn't that bad. It was going to accelerate.
It was definitely
it
was ramping up.
Was it risque?
Yeah, I just
Kind of sometimes. I don't know.
I mean, maybe you can upset anybody.
Can
in
we
the
still
room.
find it? Is it out
Yeah.
there?
Oh yeah, that's still
it's
out
okay,
there.
okay,
It's
okay,
soft.
okay.
Yeah.
We're not ashamed.
Yeah,
We
we
just
don't give a
okay.
fuck.
didn't want to hurt people's feelings as much as we were, maybe.
Yeah.
So we realized Gilmar sometimes reads, but he's
Okay.
a busy guy, so he's reading about like Photoshop and stuff. So I was like, dude, you got to read about other stuff. So we started doing podcasts on just books I read.
Oh.
And then it's me trying to convince Gilmar why he should read the book.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really.
We did 2
read.
episodes.
Yeah, and
was that
both those looked really good.
Was that one? There was one. You're talking about a book. What was it? San Francisco.
San
Is that what it
Francisco.
is? Is that what it is? That one of the
book
books?
rocked my brain.
Yeah, that shit's
Was it?
crazy.
It was crazy. I was like, ooh, yeah. I like started like I got into a groove because like I like get like into the zone like when you're starting to listen to a podcast or something. I was like, oh my gosh, and it made me like different like bells in my head go off, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I went down a rabbit hole and started googling stuff, and I was like, all right, what are we doing
From that.
Just from that.
Yeah.
That's
just from that. I
awesome.
went down a rabbit
That's
hole.
awesome. It makes
Yeah.
me feel good. That's what
Same.
that's what this podcast are supposed
Yeah,
to do.
same,
I mean,
yeah.
it-
I don't want to form people's opinions for them. Like I think right now too many people kind of like they're just kind of like walking through their day and they're like, "Oh, I heard just like a little bit of Epstein over here. I'm just going to regurgitate that later in my day." And you have all these chameleon shapeshifter type people out there that are easily identifiable if you know a little bit of history, and like from that history you can then like form your own opinions. And then like you read books like that, and San Francisco.
Yeah.
I started literally calling San Francisco San Francisco.
Yeah.
That's how I'm like, dude, I
Right,
can't even
though.
say it. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
it was like, we were just like, we just decided to abandon it. And
Yeah.
whenever I said it, we were just like, whatever.
Yeah,
Because
we know what
I
it is.
literally kept messing it up. But when I read the reason I love books like that, like history or current extrapolations, it just kind of like you kind of walk around like you know everything after you read it. Not in the arrogant sense, but it's like you just feel like so good because you see people commenting and making these statements and like putting themselves out there in this like I'm gonna put my staff in the ground and like this is my opinion and it's right and you have to take it. And it's like you read a book like that and then you see these opinions and you're like, dude, you are the dumbest son of a bitch. If you would just read the first half of this book, you would realize how dumb you are. And if you don't, then you really are even more dumb because you have the inability to change your opinions or see how wrong you are. And I read when you read books like San Francisco was a doozy of a book. I read that sometimes and I have to put it down because I would like get mad.
You're fired up because you're like, what?
You're like, who thought this policy was a good like who is this person in office like, and then they're like they would go into like who that person was and what they did with their life, and you're like, who thought this person was the person you wanted to represent? Are you kidding me? And I would be like, you know what? I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna pick up this book over here about Germany or something. But
Low transition.
yeah, it's just that book. I definitely San Francisco. Get that book, and anybody should read it. It's more than just about like San Francisco's homeless problem. It's about like the homeless problem, and ultimately that book is about like holding people accountable.
I think
And our country doesn't do that.
no, it doesn't. There's so many things. I mean, to be able to hold yourself accountable is one thing, then to hold your country accountable is a totally other ball game field conversation topic to talk about. But how you're kind of saying, like, you just like walk around. I was like one of those people, especially when I was younger, like being a teen too. I would like hear things, be like, yeah, like that's right, or this person for president, or you just like, you know, just like opinions like that. And then I started diving in, and people, you know, like they're starting doing my own research, not just hearing about what other people say, but reading books, being around or listening to podcasts, and just looking up and looking at policies myself. I was like, oh my gosh, wait, maybe that's not what I think. Maybe that's not what I actually believe. And a lot of times too, that's something that you don't realize until you have like, I want to say like your aha moment, like your awakening, like when you jump into it and you actually do start looking for yourself, because you can't just hear what somebody says and repeat it. Because then also, how can you talk about it? But how can you talk about it and not have like passion or anything that fuels why you have that stance? Oh, because that's what a lot of people say, or this is what they're saying. Well, I don't care about what they're saying. What do you say? And here a lot of times it's not popular. But also a lot of times the thing that isn't popular is usually the thing that makes the most sense. But everybody else has gone along with what everybody else is saying. So even though it is illogical or doesn't make sense, everybody's like, yeah, let's get behind it. It makes sense. Did you stop and think though? Does the stance actually resonate with you?
Yeah, and then a lot of times when you read stuff like that, it's just so the information you're extrapolating is so obvious. You're like, like how do people see this so much different than me? Like, where do they come from? And that's usually the rabbit holes I get into. It's like I'll be reading and then I'll write down like, oh, who is this person? And then I'll be like, all right, read tomorrow. Like tomorrow, read about this person. I'll read about I read a lot about politicians this year. I know a decent amount about the politicians in this country, and it's all bad. It's not really that great. So that kind of like has tainted me a little bit in realizing that we're in this kind of culture for the long haul. I don't think there is any going back to the old ways or the freedom or like thinking things were great. I honestly think the best time in this country was in the 50s, and it's been a downhill ever since then. Because what happened was like you had everybody coming back from World War II, and like they had just survived war. It was only up from here. It's like we just survived the biggest blowout battle of all times. We dropped a nuke 2 times on Japan, smoked the bastards.
Yeah.
Let's start businesses. Let's build schools. Let's do. And America, like in the 50s, was this like everybody had this sense of like it was possible, right? And then in the 60s, you know, with like JFK and shit like that, and you know, Jim Crow coming about, and like Martin Luther King, like that whole energy. Although there was a lot of real positive things that came from that, and you know, what we have today, like that growth was in that period of time. There was an insane amount of manipulation by our government during the 60s, and what they did in terms of like driving the race conversation, the war, like all of that stuff was all manipulated. And it's just, and then you kind of like, you're like, oh fuck, that sucks. And then the 70s come around, then you start having like the war on drugs happening. And then like, it just seemed kind of like once we were done focused on, you know, smoking Germans and Japs, everybody was like, yeah, well, let's make some money in this country and, you know, just get things done. But you have people in office that are career politicians. Like who's like one that's like a big one? Like obviously like Nancy Pelosi, she's worth $150 million. And she's been a career politician. Like, there's been deals that she has, like, her husband has done in his job as a, you know, equities guy, like stocks and things. Like, there have been deals and things that he has made an incredible amount of money on, like, months after she worked on policies which, like, created that opportunity. So it's kind of, and that's just one example. I'm not just harping on her. Like, it's unfortunate. Yeah, it's just, I think we should get, if we want to fix it, it's like the way I would fix it is not the way anyone else would probably fix it. I would pay them. I would pay politicians a lot of money
Okay.
but I would make it performance based. So like you could come into the president's office and be broke son of a bitch. And if you do a great job for our country, you can leave a bajillionaire. I don't care. We're making tons of money. Pay him for how good of a leadership job he did. But if he doesn't do a good job, you're fired. You don't make anything. You're out. You're out. You're beat. Right? So like in our business or in our world, like you do really well. You do really well. You know, like you benefit. Right? Why is it
I like it.
Why is it that you can get elected and then just stay in there, and as long as you hold on tight enough to your position, you just fight your way up to the ladder. You just say, all right, cool, I got a couple $1 million in the bank now. Like what? You're supposed to be making decisions that like are benefiting the population, not yourself. So like if we're gonna make this best benefit us, let them make money. But if you don't do a good job, you're fired. Like you're out. Like you don't make anything. Like make it fully transparent. Like you want to benefit off of the deals and policies you're making, you should, right? Have that bias. Like do some shit for America that's going to get you paid.
Not going to. Absolutely, just be open about it.
Act like you're not going to get paid for a good job, right? But
That's
then
what
you'll do a
happens.
good job. But you know what you would have? You would attract all the people that love doing a good job and making money in the open.
Yeah,
Right?
you would.
Like someone in my position could make an incredible amount of money over their lifetime and be open about it. Be like, hey, I built all this cool shit. I helped all of these people or whatever you're doing. But like a politician's like, yeah, I got that money.
No, it's the mindset when you're jumping into that role.
It's like Bernie Sanders. Like, yeah, we're going to give free education to everybody. Just as long as my house cleaners finish cleaning my second and third house, I can make it there on time. We'll get you the free education. I've got 3 houses. You have no houses.
But I'll give you.
But you've got college debt and I've got no debt. So we're going to take care of you guys. Like that is like, what the is anybody else listening to this, dude? It's like, but should people be allowed to do well? Yeah. They should all be allowed to do it. Like if we're going to have career politicians, which we're never going to get away from that now. Like how would we go back to like, you know what? Farmer John's going to be a politician for 2 years and then go back to the farm. It's just not, that's not how it would work anymore.
No.
Because you got to like sustain yourself. And like, I do think we need more like citizens like running for office rather than like career politicians. Like I know a lot of people when I went to school for economics, like a lot of the kids I were in class with, I was the only person that was like, I'm definitely not going to be a trader. I'm definitely not going to be a politician. I'm not going to law school after this. I better figure this out soon. College is going to be over soon. But all the kids I were in class with were going to like, you know, get their masters in political science, become politicians, go to law school, or, you know, go and trade, like whatever. So like they were all going to make a lot of money. So like why should the only one that chooses political science, like,
you're incentivizing the position.
Yeah, like all those people that chose, you know, stocks and trading and like those other positions, like would they have made good politicians? Like you would probably make an excellent politician someday.
Maybe one day. I don't know. See, that's the thing. And I totally agree with you with the whole career politician because you go to college, you can pick your major, political science. You can
But then you're like indoctrinated.
That's the thing. So I'm like, what? And to see how many people go to pursue political science and just become a politician in general, move to DC, do these different things. They go out and have all these things. That's like their entire life. That's
yeah, and a lot of them don't really help that many people.
No, that's the thing. You're not making an impact. What you're doing is you're like cheering on woo the big politician, whoever you're standing behind, whoever's on the fence. Like you're their cheerleader. Like you're like literally studying and creating a career path to become a like professional hype man to a degree.
Yeah.
Because you're not the face. Your opinion isn't being calculated. And are you actually doing anything to make a change or a difference? No.
But then it's like you as a educator and businesswoman, like your experience and views on the world would be beneficial to an entire society of people.
Oh,
but there's absolutely no incentive for you to go into a field like that.
No, the only incentive is if there's a heated topic that really pains me to go after it. to be like, all right, you know what, I'm going to make this change. Because I feel like when you're really super passionate, like genuinely, because if you were, for example, to take away any money, and let's say money couldn't be a motivator, you couldn't work for money, what would you do? What would you like? What would get you fired up? It might be to help people. It might be to make a change. It might be just to live your best life. It might not even be to impact each other. So if you were to take away any type of money or anything like that in politics, and you were to say, "Hey, like, why are you here?" Like, what would they say? What would somebody say? I feel like the best person in that position needs to be somebody who does have that integrity, who does have that mission, but that's not how it works because it is also a job. And like you're saying, fix the problem. You do good work, you make more money. Don't say, oh, I'm doing this for the people, I'm doing this for the common good, so that everybody wins. Because no, everybody doesn't win. That's not how life actually works. But we're telling people that's how it works. So we're just creating a false illusion there.
That's like one of the original Andy Frisella notions. Shout out to Andy Frisella if you're listening. One of the original notions that he put out there that I picked up aggressively was he was explaining a situation. I think it was like in relation to like a church pastor or a priest or something like that, talking about how like having money or being rich and like everything that is like, it's bad. It's fundamentally bad. And like Andy Frisella, I think he like got up and left in the middle of like this. It was just like, no, that's utterly ridiculous. Cause like I have all this money and look at all the good I do with it. Like not everybody that has money is bad. And I listened to him say that and I was like, holy shit. Like it's true. Like he is like, and then I started thinking about people in my own life that have money, and I'm like, wow, all these people actually do an incredible amount of like good for, you know, whether they're involved in the community or they're taking care of their own employees. And are there assholes that yeah, sure.
There always is,
but the majority of the people are like legitimately worried, be like, oh, you hear Fran, she's like got a thing, like my receptionist is like, I gotta bring her, like everybody's worried about like even the most small person at their company. And I'm like, I can't, when I talk to politicians, I can't say that they really, really care when you're talking to them.
I think, too, when you have a conversation with somebody, I feel like you know when somebody is, like, genuine or not.
Oh,
you can feel it out.
Most
so
of the time.
You know that, like, most people are just kissing butt. They're not doing anything. They're just, like, oh, my gosh, they're telling you what you want to hear. They're painting a narrative of themselves. But is that who they are behind closed doors? No. No, they're not.
It was like, who was it? Newsom, I think. Like, shut everything down and then went to Mexico. And they were like, wait a minute. And he's like, oh, wait, I'm coming back. I just escorted my family.
No, that was Rubio.
It was
no,
no, the Texas guy.
No, yeah.
Zodiac killer.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris.
Ted Cruz.
Yeah, it was. Ted Cruz did it too.
It was Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz did
It
too.
was Ted Cruz.
Because all the pictures with him with cornrows
Yeah.
are coming.
Fucking came
Yeah.
back. Fucking guy.
He's actually supposed to be incredibly smart. Look, he's supposed to be one of the smartest dudes in Washington. Like, actually smart. Yeah. And that's why he comes off like the way he does, because he's just like a complete weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that from like a lot of people, that Ted Cruz is like bona fide genius. Just does not come out well. I'm like, yeah, he comes out like he's the Satan. He literally looks, he got hair slicked back. He looks like he's Satan. He's like devil reincarnated.
He's a Zodiac killer, bro.
Yeah. And he's like, no more abortions. I'll see you in Mexico. That's pretty much where I went down.
Oh,
I think.
God damn it, Ted.
Whatever. Damn. This was a good podcast.
Are you sure?
I
feel like, but
are you sure? You want to redo
this
it?
is my first podcast. Yep, let's take the next hour. Rewind. Is that, can we clip those parts?
Redo
You just
it.
clip it all out.
Clip and rewind. Not my job. Sorry for you.
Sorry. It's part of the job.
No, it's been so cool. I didn't know. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm like, you know what? I got a podcast coming out in December. I'm facilitating it and being the power behind it. Two of my students are running it. I got a 13-year-old boy and a 16-year-old girl. So I'm like, you know
What is the topic, or what are you podcasting?
So I have another company that was kind of like it launched earlier this year, but the official like beta group finishes up testing and we go hard come January 2022. It's called Level Up XYZ. And it's just kids going after your potential. It's going after leadership, finding yourself, pursuing your passions to figure out, hey, like what can I do? Because all the things that we learn in school and all the things I've seen in the teaching and tutoring industry, I guess you could say, the education world, there's so many things that we don't teach to our kids that are important for life. And it's the skills, especially in entrepreneurship, that you capitalize on, that I use skills every day that I did not learn in school. Things that weren't even taught to me, things that I had to figure out. And I
Like
think
what? What a good example.
Oh, for example, like determination, that grit factor, that persevering, that because you fail, that just doesn't define you. It's more so an emotion and how you view yourself, not the idea of, all right, like you did it, perfect, but how do you do it? It's the way, the craft that you create, and I guess your level of execution. Because yeah, you can get an A on a test, but what did you do? How did you prepare for it? Did you really challenge yourself? Knowing your limits and finding out your limits. Because at school, yeah, we test what we know, but we don't test our limits. So it has some startup competitions, things like that. So to kick it off, we got a podcast going, and it's just kids interviewing people with cool jobs, things like that, grown-ups, letting them take the lead and say, you know what? It's going to be the hype girl saying, go, 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 go.
Is audio only?
I would love to get a setup like this, but
we can help you.
Can you? Well, let me know, because I'm super excited, because I want them to be able to lead the way.
I think that would just be a cool project to be a part of.
Yeah, totally. I'm super intrigued by that idea.
Let me know.
I want to be a part of that.
Because let me tell you, when kids are inspired by adults, it's powerful. But when kids are inspired by other kids, that's where the real magic happens, because it's a peer they see going out and doing it. So instead of waiting to find your aha moment of who you want to be when you are, for example, I didn't find that aha moment until I was 24. Some people go to 34, 44, 54. Some people never find it. If you can tap into that when you're young and be like, oh, man, I'm pretty freaking awesome. I'm the shit. Then you know what? You're like, you know what, I am. And you can go through your entire life then with that ahead moving forward mentality. And that's what I get excited about, is changing mindsets with my students. So I'm very excited for this project.
Or do you have any full-time students, like kids that don't go to school, that only work with your company?
I do. It's a very interesting question. Homeschool students, things like that. I absolutely do. And the one thing that I found that specifically in education and being able to grow, and why I've had so much success with my students, is that I'm able to cultivate a relationship with them. I'm not the best teacher out there. I don't know the most math. I don't have to know the most. I have to be able to make a connection the most, to be able to see them for who they are, where they are, and say, hey, you know what? Let's kick it up a notch. Let's kill it. So what are we going to do? We're going to put this in place, and I'm going to cheer you on, but you're going to have to do the work. You have to say, hey, I'm actually kind of sucking at this. Yeah, you are. And say, I'm bad at math. Yeah, you are bad at math. But, you know, we can get better at math, and that's okay. But we have to put in the work to do it. So honestly, what I do with my students, especially the ones that I have full time, I get the opportunity to work with them of not just becoming a better student, but that excellent piece is changing our mindset. Because when you change your mindset, you change everything in your life. And I'm sure you've probably experienced that. Probably both of you have. Just the way that you approach a situation and your perspective is full 180. And then from there, you say, hey, I can grow. Like we talked about earlier, lily pads jump in circles. You just see one, it changes your perspective. You grow and you grow and you grow. And I want them to be able to ignite their fire and start sooner. You know, I'm young, but there's some awesome kid entrepreneurs out there too that are like 13, 14, 15 that I know that are killing it with businesses that they came up with. Pretty cool. So they're inspiring.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This was actually like top 3 podcasts we've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even lying.
Oh, I'm flattered. I was so nervous the entire first I'm sure everybody is though too, because I'm like, this is a microphone. Don't eat it. I would grab it.
You can touch it if you want to.
Yeah.
It's not gonna break. You can I mean, yours is, you gotta give it a little bit more tuna.
Oh wow, it's pretty sturdy piece of equipment.
Yeah,
you
it's
got
sturdy
there.
piece of
Yeah, we have a
equipment.
variety of stands here. Some of them are, cooler than others, I guess.
It's cool. How long have you been doing this podcast?
We've been doing the podcast. The first run of the podcast was the After 5 podcast, and that's how After 5 Media came about. Because we, with our other businesses and then, the podcast, we just had a need for just doing media stuff.
Really?
And then, we occasionally help other people with that. It's not something that we don't spend a lot of energy being hire After 5. We help people when the people we know, and then we do the best we can. And I think we do a really good job. Gilmore does a really good job. I do a really good job cheering Gilmore on. Yeah.
I love it.
I provide the ribs. Yeah, so you're really impressive. It's cool to see just how optimistic you are, and just how you're making an impact on kids in an area that, or in a way, and like that is awesome. And like I think that's an area that's underserved, you know, even before Corona. But once Corona happened, like if you go back to my angry Instagram stories, like they shut everything down, and literally probably that first day I was on Instagram stories, I was like, these kids are gonna get dumb. All your kids are gonna fall behind. I was like, you think this is a 2-week lockdown? You are fucking mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally like, I mean, it's not cool to be right about that, but it's like I saw it as, hey, look, all these kids are locked down. None of the infrastructure is in place for them to do homeschool. No. And all my friends that are parents are not going to be good teachers. So I was like, dumb kids are coming out of this year. The math is there. So when I see you kind of like being like, no, I'm going to save at least some of these kids.
Yeah, it's like running. It's like when you do like the life vest, you know, or like put on your own mask first. Well, I'm like, oh, but I got 2 hands. We can do it at the same time, you know? So,
you're like, what's up?
Yeah. So
American Airlines, like, put your mask on.
Another hidden talent right there.
Oh, my God. There's so many. There's a few jokes there, though.
Yeah.
Like, if you were to start going down in an airplane, are you allowed to take your mask off to put your other mask on? Because you're only technically allowed to take your mask off if you're eating. So you got to, like, put an Oreo in your mouth while you're like,
quick swap.
Be like, no, I'm eating.
Yeah. It's allowed.
Be like, it's cool. And be like, no, I don't have an Oreo. I'm gonna die.
So he's not eating. They
be like, help him. Be like, we don't have any more crackers. The rules are rules.
The rules are rules. Kick you out of the.
Yeah, everybody would die anyway.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Not a good time.
That's how we'll end the podcast.
I like how you just came up with that scenario.
Travel with me, man. Travel with
Have you
with
been on
me.
flights recently?
No, it'd be a bad idea to take me on a plane right now.
I did over the summer.
Yeah,
I went to Guatemala for my brother's wedding, but it was interesting.
Was it?
Yeah.
I just got off. I went on a plane. I think it was actually 2-3 weeks ago, and starting January, I'm gonna be traveling like every month. And airport, I guess you're required to have a mask. No one has a mask on when you're sitting there, and then you get on the plane, you have to have your mask on for the whole flight.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, but to eat or drink. So then everybody takes their mask off to like eat or drink for like
just
15,
like double
20
fist
minutes.
and cookies.
Yeah, and I'm just like, why?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
You're traveling every month.
Yeah, just for different things.
Different stuff. Just chill, dude.
For some different ventures.
It sounds like a couple of weddings.
All business, actually.
All business.
Yeah, bro, she's a secret agent, man.
Damn, dude. No, seriously, look at this whole get up right here. If you were like a secret agent, this is how you would fool us.
You gotta like
come in with like blue yoga pants, some like rainbow. What kind of Pumas?
Pumas.
You're like, yeah, I definitely don't know how to assassinate anyone. I like to do things 3 months at a time.
She's 007.
I just pick it up.
She's 007.
I'll shoot you in the face next time. I'll be a marksman.
She has a gold gun somewhere.
Yeah, seriously.
Silver, but
the tapping them.
Yeah.
Get it right, Gilmar.
Pat pussy. Like, oh.
Yeah, throwing gang signs down.
Oh my
like,
god,
oh, dude.
She's about it.
Who are you?
Grit stick.
No, actually, shout out Grit Stick.
Hey, shout out Grit Stick.
My one of my friends, it's her business, and she takes chalk for like lifting. She takes aluminum tubing as a chalk container and takes recycled scope caps as the container. So it's a lady owned. She's an entrepreneur. So
that's sick.
Yeah,
let's get her on the show.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, for real.
Yeah, she's out west, but she's
let's get her on the show.
Let's go out west.
Yo, we're going out west.
We're going out west.
We do have all like the cases and stuff.
Yeah, how come we've never done that?
There's some crazy. Have you ever thought of like a podcast on the road where you just travel?
A road trip?
Yeah, like a road trip podcast where you just like, hey, how are you today? What do you do? I mean, you might get a lot of duds, but you might, because like, the more people you talk to, I'm very social. I talk
just
to
go up
people
to
all the
random.
time.
Dude, we should do that. Get like a setup where like not Andrew Schultz has a Chrissy comedy. How he has the mics.
Yeah,
the mics.
They sit on the couch and that's how they do their podcast. They don't do them on like things like this. They actually have like corded mics that they sit there. I don't know. I think I would do that. We gotta free up some time.
Yeah.
Let's free up my schedule. We're going on the road.
Yeah.
Road
We're
trip.
doing it live.
What if everybody comes along Monday? They'll be like, "Where's Andrew and Gilmar?" Like they're on the road. Do you see the Instagram story?
They're in Seattle, dude.
Yeah, they're jumping rope across America.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I like
She
that. I
comes
like
with
that.
us.
I'm
Yeah.
like, wait for me, guys.
yeah.
No, that's it. Where or how? Like, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? Or we'll close it out with a bang.
You want to get in touch with me? Probably my phone number, but I'm not going to share
Whoa,
that.
whoa.
I'm not going to share that.
Okay, honesty, I like it.
Probably I guess social. So Instagram or Facebook. So Instagram, Mikala, MIKALADEI. Instagram, or is this camera? Instagram.
I mean, you could do any. Boom,
Oh,
boom, boom.
oh shoot, Instagram.
There you go.
Or you can find me on Facebook, where I am Mikala Silvestri, Mikala, last name Silvestri, SILVESTRI, and
Definitely
I
a
hope to connect.
teacher.
Yeah.
Definitely a teacher.
Spell
Just
it
spelling
out.
it, bam, bam, bam.
Yes,
Bam,
yes, yes, yes.
So we've had people on here that don't even know how to spell their names when they like start spelling it. They're like, you know what? Just find me.
Just find me. Throw it up.
Jesus.
Yeah, but honestly, it's just been so fun. I want to say thank you to you
No, that's
for
all, yeah,
bringing
definitely.
me in and having me here. Both of you have had so much fun.
I definitely want to stay in touch. I feel like we could be friends. I feel like we have a lot in common.
Yeah, and that's the weird part. And I feel like we probably have more in common than we didn't even get to cover.
Yeah.
And I feel just from our conversations even before this previous, we probably run with similar circles because I feel like you're
we know
a low key guy maybe.
Yeah, I hide a little bit.
But like
yeah.
yeah, I feel like although I have a lot of energy, I do hide. But I feel like we might have some circle. We might have some overlappage. You might be surprised.
Dude, Rambo's falling asleep on the podcast already.
It's like,
He's
that's it. We're done.
It's like, damn, what the
Oh, poor guy.
It's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely we'll have to get
Yeah,
together.
awesome.
And we'll
Thanks.
definitely have to do some jump rope. Do a little video.
Please, super excited, especially as anytime I'm always down. You're in Newtown. You're at the NAC. Next time you're at the NAC, send me a message.
Yeah, I'm right in Yardley Borough.
Really?
Yeah, so big jump from one chair to the couch, dude. That was
impressive.
elite,
That was
man.
I'm in
impressive.
Washington Crossing.
Ooh, okay. So we're close.
Yeah, we're probably like 12 minutes apart. 15. Less than 10
Damn.
miles.
Oh, shit. Did we John Stamos did Velociraptors and Good Housekeeping.
Did we just come to
friend? Yeah, awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm going to air high five you over there. You
Yeah,
can
kick
give
on
us
my
that. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank
so
you.
this was a killer episode. If your kids are dumb, you now know how to undumb them. And is that too much?
No,
It's straight
it's fine.
honest, dude.
It's
If you're-
very honest.
We know kids
If
like
your kids,
kids
need some
are-
stop
self-improvement.
lying to them and get them
Yeah.
help. You
Some
get
kids are
them
dumb.
remotivated.
Sometimes they don't do a great job. You got to call them out for it and show them how to do a great job. I got you.
There you go.
So there you go. Subscribe. Give this lady a follow. Follow us, and we love you guys.